Hello, you're listening to Questboard, a podcast where we make up random side quests. This is Tiffany.
And this is Brandon, as I point in his direction.
I just tried to throw you off.
You did. Good job. We are not professional writers in any way, shape, or form. At least, we don't claim to be. We just really like tabletop RPGs, and we do this for fun.
I'm really wondering if this is someone's first episode. And they're like, so the man's name is Tiffany.
Okay, so correction for those of you who are just now joining us. He is Brandon. I am Tiffany.
No, we should just not correct it. And then when they listen, hopefully they like it, and listen to the next episode, then we switch back to our normal thing.
No,
and then they'll be confused again, so it's a double whammy.
Then we just start going, hi, I'm Tandon, and I'm Biffany.
Oh my god, do we have to now list out all the versions of switching our names or switching things up?
No, that's just what my brain did when I was thinking too much about it.
I don't know how people could do that.
What, mix up the first letter of things and get them swapped in your head?
It's like how you could some people could quickly do Pig Latin, where they just toss things at the end of words and say it in a sentence as they're coming up with it. I can't do that. So
one thing that really gets me all the time is in our newish car. It's still really new to us. I really like it. A RAV4. Love them. We have seat heaters. I had to stop and think about it for a sec, so I didn't say the other one, heat seaters. We swap the words all the time, but it still works because they're seat heaters. Yes, the seat is heated. And they're heat seaters. They're heating the seaters, which is the butt that's sitting on the seat.
You've been saying seats so many times. When you said cedars, I'm just thinking of the wood cedar.
Good smell.
I think we're this. I'm predicting this is our brain dead episode.
Oh no.
This is bad early signs.
Well, I have had a lot of caffeine today, so this might get weird.
Okay, I'm going to be relying on you. So, buckle in, everyone.
Oh, gosh.
Do you have dice?
I got them. We have a 6, and that's a 7, so that's a 76.
And this is Party Starters, by the way.
Oh, yeah, we're doing a Party Starter.
I also forgot about bringing that.
Yeah, that's a little important.
76?
7-6.
Is a long one.
Oh,
yay.
No. I'm sorry.
The PC were a part of a dungeon exploration group.
Player characters.
Characters, obviously. Almost all the other NPCs, apart from the leader, his mage, and 3 of his soldiers, met their demise in those heavily trapped dungeons. Wait, those heavily trapped dungeon without a plural.
Yeah, I think that's a typo.
Anyways.
The next word's a typo, too.
In the last... Whoever made this table... In the last room, some sort of artifact is displayed. Oz displayed. I am so sorry for the listeners.
Yeah, this one's rough.
This isn't even the drunken speak or pirate speak.
No,
or
this just has a lot of typos. There's I'm instead of in, Oz instead of is, non-plural word.
Anyways, some sort of artifact is displayed on an altar, surrounded by mounds of gold and gemstones. While resting, one of the party overhears a conversation between the leader and his mage assistant. They want to get the artifact and gold for themselves?
For themselves, yeah.
During nights when W-H-E-M, when everyone seems asleep, you see the leader and his aide at the pedestal where the artifact is. Untouched, the leader screams and throws the artifact towards the group to suddenly grip it apart by an unknown force. When he threw it to the artifact to the group, I was just thinking of what was that in Lord of the Rings when Pippin grabs the orb that Sauron had and was reading his mind and then had to throw it across, and then Gandalf or Aragorn tosses the rag on top of it.
Okay, keep in mind, I think I've seen the second and third ones once each.
Okay, well, it happened in the second one.
Maybe twice.
How many times have you seen the first movie?
More. I don't know how many times.
Watch the second and third one. They're better.
Okay.
Anyways.
I mean, they're all good, yes.
The leader was suddenly ripped apart by an unknown force. A strong wind comes to suck in all that's close and is getting stronger.
Seems to suck.
You wake up, everyone.
It's take
the artifacts and run out of the dungeon. Outside, the dungeon collapsed and you're all stranded in the mountains without gear or rations. Only one horse with provisions is still there, while the others fled. It's the PCs and the 3 soldiers survived.
Okay.
This is a weird one.
This is a weird one. Okay, so there's a whole scenario that happens. You are part of a dungeon exploration group, but with a bunch of NPCs. Like, you're just all in this group together. And you get betrayed. Except the guy who betrays you dies, and the entire dungeon gets sucked into a black hole, essentially, stranding you in the mountains with nothing.
Yeah. How do we make a quest out of that?
It just turns it into a survival scenario.
You know, I could see this working as a one-shot.
Yeah, it'd be a much
because
better
if you
one-shot.
had, you know, a lot of people don't like to play on the actual like hardcore version of rules, which is the legit rules.
Right.
But sometimes I want to, like, if everyone's agreeing on it, to do a quote unquote survival one shot or short campaign where you actually have to take account encumbering rules and rationing rules and actually roll for like salvaging and all this and that.
And also thinking about food spoiling on you.
Also that.
And temperature. Since this is in the mountains, then...
colder temperatures or anything like that.
There are cold temperature rules and punishments for dealing with it.
And I think I would also add like severe injuries.
Yes, you would definitely want to add that. And at that point, that's when you'd want to break out that one die that has like all the different body parts on it. And you just roll it and be like, all right, you break your leg.
Or you now have a limp.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Half your movement speed or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that would be a cool premise in which that is all a cutscene and then this starts as this is the one shot from here on out. But what are we going to do for now when that would not be hardly planned? You know what I mean?
Right. So the premise is survive. I think the whole main goal of this is to get back to a town. Preferably the last town you came from, because it's most likely the closest town. And if anyone had a map or remembers a map, then they'll have that to go off of. Or if they can see, since they're up in the mountains, they'd be able to see pretty far and like spot something and maybe sketch out a quick map, like a rough map that they can add to on their way there.
Well, I think it'll be like, probably the map will be on them, so then it will get sucked into the wormhole thing.
Yeah.
Or black hole. I think it'll be as simple of like, you know that civilization is in the south because it's like the last town they were in, they headed north to get up this mountain.
Exactly.
So then you could just say, you know that heading south will be the way.
You know that the nearest town is south of here along a river, because usually towns are next to water.
Yeah.
So if they can find the river and follow it downstream or something like that, because they're on a mountain, rivers flow away from mountains.
That's how gravity works.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I don't know why you were looking at me like, oh, please confirm with me.
No, I was just looking at you confirming it for myself. Sorry. The dangers of having a studio where you can, like, in the same room and can actually make eye contact and weird faces.
No, I think it was just like, please, we need to both be in agreement on this or else the internet's going to roast us.
Well, I know how gravity works. I know how rivers work. They flow away from high.
Are you saying Gravity Falls?
What?
Is this place located in Oregon?
Oh, I missed that show.
Okay, so I think if this is a regular one and not a survival one shot.
No, I'd be okay with survival one shot. I like that idea. It's a good chance to bring in all those extra little nitpicky tidbits that people often ignore.
Okay, well, so the premise of this show is party starters, which is campaign starts.
Yes.
Are you saying that this will be our first ever just one-shot idea?
It could either be a one-shot or lead into a campaign where they either keep using all those nitpicky rules because everyone likes them, or they completely drop them.
You need to say everyone likes them with heavy sarcasm.
Because everyone likes them.
There you go.
You're welcome.
No one likes them.
After this scenario, those nitpicky rules get dropped when everyone gets gear again because no one likes them.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's like this one mission will be a survival mission because they're low gear.
Right.
And the moment they get back to town and re-gear up or actually have stuff, then we could start ignoring it.
Because they won't even have armor. You can't sleep with your armor on. That causes exhaustion.
That is true.
You don't sleep with your backpack on.
Well, that's the point on this thing,
They've-
saying that you lost all your stuff except for one horse with
There's a horse?
some provision.
Oh, yeah.
With provisions.
Only one horse.
Is still there while the others fled.
Yeah.
And so it's the party of 4 PCs with 3 soldiers.
Mm-hmm. And if you have 5 PCs, just drop a soldier.
Okay.
And the soldiers can be used for learning scenarios where it's like, oh, hey, let's try to do this thing. Oh, one of them died. Let's not do that.
You know, I think what would be a cool one is if you start this campaign where it's the leader / mage is starring an expedition and they get hired, right?
Right.
You will actually role play going up to the mountain, exploring the dungeon and all that stuff with relaxed rules.
Right.
So that you can set the tone of like, yeah, we're going to do this. But then once this event happens, then it's going to be then, because now we're in a survival situation, you're going back down. So it shows that like going back down, we will account for the quote unquote hardcore rules.
Mm-hmm.
And then we could go back to the normal one. So if you start off with the like more relaxed rules, it allows them to have a sign of this is only temporary.
Yeah.
Because if you had 2 sets of rules, or just because a special circumstance happens, then the rules change.
Right.
So could sign that the rules will change back.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully the party's fine with that.
Yeah. I know, like, some people kind of want to try the hardcore mode. They don't want to commit to it, though. So this would be a really good, hey, here's the hardcore rules. Do we like? Do we hate? And then afterwards, you can actually vote
Okay.
whether or not you stick to that or switch back to.
And it's very fitting for this situation to incorporate the hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
We say hardcore rules, but it's actually legit just
The actual rules.
So funny when we talk about
the
that.
non-homebrew. Yeah, because the actual rules take into account carry weight, take into account temperature.
Ammo count.
What?
Ammo count for arrows.
No, yeah, ammo count. I thought you said animal count. I was just like,
And
how many pets you
not
can have?
every thing you fire will actually you'll be able to salvage.
Right.
Like it's
Salvage.
I realize what I said.
Yeah, I know.
Where it's like I think 50% of the arrows you shoot you're able to retrieve.
Yeah, I think it's either you roll and that's the percentage that you get back, or you only get back like 50% of what you shot.
Which
because the rest of them actually break.
Which really sucks.
Well, in this case, they would be handmade arrows, especially if you're making bows. And you'd have to roll to be able to make the bow and arrows.
Well, I would probably give them bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I wouldn't give them anything.
You are sadistic.
Mm-hmm.
I would give them like, okay, out of your possible list of like your starting items, pick one weapon you get to keep.
Mm.
So then it allows them to strategize. And then they have to really emphasize, if you pick a bow, then you're going to roll 1 through 20 because it comes with 20 arrows. How many arrows you have left?
Oof.
And so that will be that. And I think, and they lost most of their armor. Actually, probably all of them.
I mean, like I said, you wouldn't wear your armor to sleep.
Yeah.
That's not logical. But I was thinking similar to the Out of the Abyss campaign, which I reference a lot, but that's just because I've actually played it and it's one of the few I've actually done, where you start with nothing. You don't have your armor. You don't have any weapons at all. I think you end up with, you can get maybe a spoon.
And that's a very important spoon.
It was a really annoying spoon.
You know, that kind of reminds me of the campaign that I joined in our group in the beginning, where we were going to like a sauna, open like bath sauna.
Yeah.
And the DM was planning an encounter with like some steam misfits, I believe it was.
Yes.
But when he started and all that stuff, he's like, okay, so roll initiative and then all this. And then we all talked about, yeah, so we took off our armor. And so all of our ACs are low. And he did not plan for that.
Nope.
Because he didn't think about it.
Yep.
And we still won. We were fine. Well, but it was just a funny, like, hey, we're actually playing by the rules. We don't have armor on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was playing a druid, so all I had to do was try or shapeshift into an animal, and I'm fine.
I was relying on my armor for my tankiness and shield.
Mm-hmm.
So I get screwed.
Yeah.
But anyways, do you want to... So on the way down, it's very much like follow the river or anything like that. It's small individual events.
Mm-hmm.
But do you want to say something is hunting them? We'll have like... Did you ever see the movie The Gray with Liam Neeson?
I have not, but I've seen plenty of trailers for it.
Okay, so the premise of the movie. I know I didn't even see it, but I know the premise of the movie and I know the ending of the movie.
Spoilers?
Spoiler for The Gray. It's a story about Liam Neeson being on a plane ride and the plane crashes in the middle of the forest.
Okay.
So he has to survive with like some random luggage or anything like that.
Mm.
But he needs to make it to civilization. It's the middle of winter, like snowy, cold out, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when he's trying to like go and find civilization, he's constantly being hunted by a wolf pack.
Oh.
And the end of the movie, which is so like intense and BA, he like straps like something on his knuckles. I think it's like broken shards of glass bottles or anything like that, and staring down the alpha of the pack as like the other wolves are kind of surrounding him, and he just charges forwards and cuts the black, and that's credits.
What?
It is so awesome, but it's very much you don't get a satisfying ending.
No.
But it was just like, instead of constantly running and being hindered by the wolves or anything like that, he decided just to fight them face on at the very end.
Okay. Do you want to turn this into essentially The Gray and have a wolf pack hunting them down? Or I was thinking a bear.
Well, this is fantasy. We could do anything.
Yeah, I was still thinking bear.
But we would basically be doing All Is Not Frosty, and we might make another Tremors episode.
Owlbear?
Oh, this is the star of a campaign. We can't even do like the Tremor episode.
No, we can't. It has to be something level ones can handle.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like,
Owlbear is really hard.
yeah, I was going to say, that's why I was going for like, I don't know, Wolfpack, regular, boring old bear? All right, time to go to our list of things to throw at people. Where is that list? There it is. All right. By challenge rating, we have an awakened shrub.
I would say make the challenge rating 2, because we can't have it where it's... Maybe the owlbear would be good.
Yeah.
Because we want so that in the beginning...
Could be a pack of hyenas.
In the beginning, we will want where they can't outright kill it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think an owlbear would probably be good of like, they know how challenging it is.
Mm-hmm.
So they would instantly run away and try to avoid it. And so it creates
Probably.
that sense of being hunted.
True.
We don't want something that could be like, maybe a challenge rating 2 would be too close for them to think, I can actually take it.
Right.
We want them to feel helpless.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess after we decide on the monster, then we could just think of random events that could happen.
Yeah. It could be a giant badger.
Oh, what about a basilisk?
Oh, that's just mean. Looking through this list and all I see is riding horse. And I'm like imagining that chasing them. It's just, no.
So no to the basilisk?
I mean, it's a maybe. Wolves are on here in the, what is that, the 1/4 rating. So pack of wolves is still like logical. If you want to make this less of a fantasy one and more of a you're stuck in nowadays wildlife situation.
If you want to make it a little bit more magical, a werewolf is challenge rating 3.
Oh. Cockatrice on here. Those are pretty small though, aren't they?
Yeah. Aren't they a challenge rating of like 1/2 or something?
Yep. Could be a bunch of hobgoblins.
Like spectator is a challenge rating 3.
Spectators are amusing.
They are terrifying.
Yeah, I know.
Because they're mini beholders.
I know. I just fought one in Baldur's Gate 3 last night.
Yeah.
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 It could be a pack of wargs. Bigger than wolves.
Yeah, those are what goblins ride.
Yeah,
in
those
the
things.
lore.
But there's no goblins. It's just wild wargs.
I feel like a singular creature will be more intimidating. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Brown bear?
I'm saying all these like very terrifying challenge rating 3
I just hit
things.
challenge rating 1, okay?
Because
I'll jump up to higher challenge ratings just for you. I'm in 2 now.
Like I
'Cause
said, a challenge rating 1 thing, they will just instantly fight.
Calculator.
Even though they are disadvantaged with less armor and less gear. Did you know A spectator has the ability to create food and water.
That's interesting.
Spectator magically creates enough food and water to sustain itself for 24 hours.
Hmm.
I feel like that wouldn't hunt the party then.
Ooh, here's a thought. What if
A phase spider's challenge rating 3.
what if the forest is hunting them? What if it's an awakened tree?
What challenge rating is that one?
I was on a different thing. Awakened trees, challenge rating 2.
It seems like would it be easy to run away from an awakened tree?
They are motionless. It's literally just a tree that can thwack you with its limbs.
The speed is 20.
It's a whomping willow.
I don't know if that thing hunting the party.
Never mind. Yeah, it has speed. It can move.
At 20 feet per round.
I was reading the false appearance thing, so it says while the tree remains motionless,
Yeah, it's hard
indistinguishable.
Yeah.
So it's a whomping willow that can walk.
A walking whomping willow.
Walking. There's your tongue twister. A walking whomping willow.
Oh god.
They could run into various things that they then get away from.
I think the sense of like one thing hunting them and then them coming across those smaller things, like maybe a cockatrice or something like that, where it's like that could impede them and they have to deal with that quickly by killing them quickly or trying to avoid them.
Right.
You know? I think that creates a sense of urgency and danger.
All right. I switched my random encounter generator to deadly, and it gave me 7 giant weasels. No giant
Don't
weasels?
think so.
Okay. I'll hit the button again.
Well,
2 tigers.
a blue dragon wormling is a challenge rating 3.
I don't want to do any more dragon wormlings. I feel like that's just a cop-out.
Okay.
I don't know why it feels like a cop-out, but it does.
That's because it's Dungeons and Dragons.
True. Okay, I'll stop looking at the random generator thing and go find a cooler thing.
Because also, this is a force that they went up to get to it. And now they have to go back down.
What about an eel hound?
Eagle hound?
Eel hound.
Oh, eel hound.
Yeah, not eagle hound. That would be cool too. No, this is an eel hound. It's amphibious. It can breathe air and water. Got pack tactics.
I told you, this is our brain dead episode.
Uh-huh. So it's got like advantage on attack rolls if it has friends. If it's flanking.
I don't even know what one looks like.
I don't either. It was on.
I've never heard of that before.
It was on the list. I'm gonna Google it now. Eagle hound. Okay. Interesting. All right. So it looks like an eel, but with dog legs.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's actually kind of cool looking. It's like blue with purple fins. I quite like it.
Oh, you know what would be good?
I
think I saw that was challenge rating 3. Let me see. Yeah, a hook horror.
Hook horror?
Yeah, they're a Underdark creature.
What are they doing on the surface?
Maybe it was just one that randomly wandered up. But some terrifying creature like that?
You know your entire party is going to start calling it the hook horror instead of hook horror.
And then it will kill him because it does 2 hook attacks at +6 to hit, dealing 2d6 +4 damage.
That's one hit. That's one hit kills right there.
Yeah, I know.
I think challenge rating 3 is a bit too much. We need to stick with challenge rating 2.
Okay.
So we don't like full on murder.
I just want to create that sense of tension, like they actually need to run away from it.
Yeah. What about a Wigan Nettleby?
What about a Minotaur skeleton?
That would be cool.
That's a challenge rating 2.
There you go. What on earth?
Okay, so they could be like, they have to travel through an undead forest, undead infested forest.
Okay.
And so that they know that there's undead in the area on the way up.
Okay.
When they roleplay it.
Undead Swordsman is also in challenge rating 2.
That sounds too generic, doesn't it?
Yes.
At least a Minotaur skeleton's like imposing and like that clearly we need to run away from it.
Yeah, there's just some dude that had a sword and he died and now he's just walking around.
Yeah, come on. We got to think of something intimidating. I still vote Minotaur skeleton.
No, I'm fully with you on that.
The dungeon master could set up the scene where anything they pass by on the way up, he or she knows that it's going to be much difficult on the way back down because they're going to be in survival mode back on the way back down.
Right. Maybe on the way up, the leader of the group, the guy who grabbed the thing,
Yeah, the NPC.
that one, he has some sort of amulet or something that causes the undead to stay away from them. So they can just walk through the forest all willy-nilly, and they were expecting to have that on the way back. But it got sucked into the black hole.
Yes. So yeah, if they had an ex machina
Mhm.
to make it easy on the way up,
Yeah,
and only had to deal with like small wildlife creatures or anything like that.
right.
And so on the way back down, when they get off the mountainous area into the forest,
Which I would say the mountain is completely surrounded by the forest.
yes. And so they know that the mountainous is going to be miscellaneous small creatures.
Mhm.
But the real challenge is going through a forest that's infested with undead, knowing that they don't have their protection gem.
Right.
That is
So,
a good idea, yes.
Going down the mountain, they need to gear themselves up as much as possible. Maybe like carving spears or putting together bows and arrows.
I don't know
or-
how they would craft that. Maybe you could set it up so that you will find random dead adventurers
That's a possibility, yeah.
as a pure luck thing.
Or some of these skeletons that have already been taken out, like they're partway up the mountain or something. Maybe if they start walking up the mountain, they lose whatever's enchanting them. Maybe it's the forest itself that's doing it. And so partway up the mountain, they'll find some of these skeletons with gear, but it's old.
What happens if on the way up they find those skeletons with the gear that's old,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll be like, "This doesn't cut like isn't worth anything," so
Yeah,
they
it's
don't
not
grab
worth
it.
taking.
And so then on the way back to you, the game master could be like, "There's the skeletons you saw with those old gear,"
Mm-hmm.
and now it's a sense of greater value because they're in desperation.
Right. Some armor's better than no armor type of situation. So it's
Yeah,
got
it'd be
like
rusty old armor.
rusty old armor with holes in it where the skeletons died.
Yeah, so you could
So-
say it's this armor minus 1 or 2 AC from it.
Right. It's not as good as it could be, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So they're gearing up with junk,
And then they have
rusty
to
junk.
then they have to be cautious during a undead forest.
What if this adds durability as a factor? Like however many hits their armor takes or however many times they use the weapons, they could break.
Actually, that reminds me. I've been continuing reading Pathfinder 2nd Edition rulebook.
Yeah.
They actually have durability rules in that rulebook.
Oh, there we go. This is a perfect Pathfinder situation.
But I read that and I'm like, I'm not doing that in a real game. Because the amount of math you have to keep track of every piece of armor, shield, and weapon
That does sound annoying, yes.
it sounds annoying and way too complicated and not fun in my opinion.
So every item has its own character sheet.
Yeah, pretty much. Or it's its own tracker on health.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm like, I would not do that. But in a survival situation, maybe. Especially when it's rusted items.
Right.
Their starting gear, the one gear they chose, that won't have a health because it's actually like new and pristine. It's
still
the
going on
rusted
that?
ones that like could brittle at any moment because of time.
You're still going on that they get one item.
I'm still on that.
Okay.
Throw them a bone on that one.
That's an if you want to do it, let's say.
Okay.
If you want to throw them a bone and give them that little bit of extra help, then they can find an item. If they've pissed you off today, they find nothing.
It's the start of the campaign and they already pissed you off.
It's not going to go well.
I think you need to find a new group if they already pissed you off that soon.
No, you're teaching them early you don't piss off the dungeon master.
You see, that's the toxic like catch-22.
Yeah, I know.
Break the chain. That's all I'm saying.
What, continue to make your dungeon master angry so they can then murder your character for fun?
Yeah, no. Don't do that. And as a dungeon master, don't do that.
Okay, yeah.
Break the cycle.
Honestly, I don't need to do anything like that. My characters break themselves by rolling ones 3 times in a row. That was a good moment.
Yeah.
He threw that die in the trash.
We're always going to just reference that, and he doesn't listen to this podcast.
No, but he knows that we reference it constantly. And then he gets angry about it again because he's like, I can't believe I did that. He had advantage.
Yep. He's just that bad. It's a skill issue.
Well, he got rid of that die. He hasn't done it since.
Still sounds like a skill issue to me. Anyways,
Okay, so
that's pretty much. I think that's pretty much the quest.
yeah, it's pretty much
We spent half of this episode just trying to figure out what monster to
Right.
quote unquote hunt them down.
and it'll be like an encounter here, and then it flees or something. Like they do enough damage to it, it runs away, and then when they find it again, it's either back to full health or it has like a percentage missing. So then subsequently, each time they encounter it, it has less and less health.
Possibly. I just want it to be designed so that it's imposing enough that makes them want to run away.
Yes.
Hopefully a Minotaur skeleton would imply that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of dumb people out there.
Yeah.
But maybe when they know the rules of like knowing that it's a like survival hardcore,
Mm-hmm.
they'll take it like more cautiously, but some people are suicidal idiots.
Okay, here's one more thought. Do you want to leave them with nothing? When they get back to town, they have nothing. They have no money.
Depends on if they piss you off or not.
I know. I'm thinking that, like, part of the description says that the guy who grabbed the artifact then throws it at the group, and then he gets sucked into the hole.
The artifact will be enough money for them to buy their stuff.
Yeah.
Also, that reminds me, you have 3 NPC soldiers to also feed, maintain,
Yeah.
and
I was treating them
equip.
like red shirts.
They can, and I think that'd be a good way of like showing how menacing this Minotaur skeleton is.
Yeah, using them as an example.
But if the players want to keep them alive, that makes it so much more complicated because it's another mouth to feed or anything like that.
Yeah.
But let's say if they got them alive, they'll get a bonus for each person they kept alive.
Right. Yeah. I think that'd be a good thing. Or like their families would reward the party. Like, here's one of our family things.
Or more money because they ran out of money.
Yeah. I think that'd be a good situation. Survive the dark forest. Do we want to name anyone?
Do you want to name the leader that's going to die?
Okay, leader. There's a lot of cool names on here. I want to, like, I'm the bad guy kind of name. Ooh, Alistair Walton. Well, Alistair, yes. Walton, maybe not so much.
Alistair Walton.
Alistair Ward.
Okay.
And then it also mentioned an assistant.
The mage?
Yeah. Let's go with Leslie Boyle.
Leslie Boyle.
Mm-hmm. What about the 3 soldiers?
They make up their names on the spot.
Oh, but I found Ivan. Ivan, Cyrus, and Luther.
Ivan, Cyrus, and Luther.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stylus.
The 3 Stooges.
Yeah. The 3 red shirts.
They're not captains. So
they're just
screwed.
soldiers. They're just grunts.
Anyways, we have 2 social media accounts that we try to keep up with. One is Twitter at QuestBoardPod, and the other one is on YouTube at QuestBoardPod. If you just put in QuestBoardPod, it'll show up. If you put this in any of your campaigns or start of your campaign, let us know what happens. I'm really curious and tell us if your players pissed you off and what kind of punishment did you do when they got back to town, if they got back to town. Also, if anyone Leroy Jenkins towards a Minotaur skeleton, please let us know.
Oh, I want to hear all about that.
You guys let us know by tweeting at us or down in the comments. I think with that, I wish you all good night.
And happy questing.